A vehicle that's fun, fast, and caters to your entire family is the Ford Explorer ST. And here at Steeda, we embrace vehicles like that. Why? Because we're going to show you how, for under $500, to unlock a bunch of hidden potential. I'm Scott from Steeda Autosports, and today we're here to talk to you about the Ford Explorer ST. Now, what started off as a family SUV, checks all the boxes, go to the ballpark, soccer games, go to Home Depot, you name it. It really has a bunch of hidden performance potential that we have been able to unlock here at Steeda. Now, sure, you can go ahead and throw the bank at any vehicle and make it more fun, more sporty, but we're gonna give you our top mods under $500 to really transform your Explorer ST. First on my list is gonna be our Steeda adjustable rear sway bar. Now, why do you need a rear sway bar? Well, simply put, adding a rear sway bar is going to single-handedly change the driving characteristics of that Ford Explorer. It's not actually going to change the ride. You're still gonna be on factory springs, so you're gonna still have great compliance going over bumps. But as soon as you go to turn into a corner or exit a turn, you're gonna notice that Ford Explorer has less body roll. It's gonna take the corners much flatter. Not only is this going to instill more confidence into the driver, it's gonna make it a lot more sportier. Like I said, you're not gonna get that roll going into the turns and everything. You're gonna think you're in a car that's half the size. The beauty of the rear sway bar, doesn't void any warranties. It's completely reversible if you go to sell it. And like I said, it really doesn't change the ride qualities associated with the Ford Explorer ST. It's only going to make it handle better each and every time. That's why I always start with the rear sway bar. And then the other best part about the adjustable rear sway bar is how you can tailor it to your liking. We always suggest that you start at the middle hole. This is going to give you a good balance between the softest and the stiffest setting. There, you can change it to your liking. If it's not giving you enough body roll, you can go ahead and put it on the softest setting and still get an increase in performance. If you really like to rip the corners, put it on the stiffer setting. The other beauty of that rear sway bar is if you tow a boat or a car or maybe a utility trailer, it's going to give you a lot more confidence when you're towing these things. So it's simply an absolute no-brainer Steeda rear sway bar on the back of your Explorer or Explorer ST. Next on our mods is anytime you have a performance vehicle that comes with a factory-equipped turbocharger, nothing is better than a custom tune. Not only are you going to get better power and better performance out of it, you're actually going to be getting better gas mileage. Well, how does that work? Simply put, custom tuning makes your engine more efficient. It's going to burn less fuel and give you more power. And on a turbocharged vehicle, you won't be able to recognize the difference. It really makes a tremendous difference adding a custom tune. The other thing that a lot of people don't talk about with handheld tuners is say your check engine light comes on. Say it goes into fail-safe mode. You can simply plug this in and see exactly what is going on in your factory ECU. So not only is it a great tool for better gas mileage and increased performance, it's a great diagnostics tool as well, because you don't have to run up to the auto parts store to see what's going on or make an expensive visit to your local Ford dealership. Simply plug it in and it'll tell you exactly what codes you're throwing, so you might be able to tackle those simple fixes on your own. So now that you've increased the handling a little bit and got some more power with an SCT tuner, let's address the dreaded rear diff bolt. These things have a TSB from Ford because, quite frankly, when people started modding these Explorer STs and making more horsepower, they started snapping the single rear bolt. Well, we had a customer approach us in our South Florida location and said they were not happy with any of the rear diff brace offerings on the market. So we got with the engineering team here at Steeda and we put our heads together. What can we do to make the best rear diff brace possible? Like I said, there's a TSB out from Ford that will change that rear diff bolt. But anybody that's serious in performance knows that one diff bolt simply isn't going to be enough to accelerate a 4,500 to a 5,000 pound vehicle when you add more horsepower to it. That's why our Steeda rear diff brace is simply the best unit on the market. What we did was we took all the other offerings out there and we simply made ours better. We added 50% more attachment points to the diff brace. And we added a dual bushing design that helps spread the load properly across the rear subframe. Check out our videos and look at the difference from before and after and the difference that this makes. And simply put, those are the reasons we haven't been able to keep these things in stock since we started making them. Now, while you're back there installing this rear diff brace, I also highly suggest our patent pending rear bushing support system. What this is going to do is it's going to simply bolt into place and fill the factory voids of your rear subframe bushings. Once again, this is a part that adds no NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. You're going to put it in there and literally the transmission from some of other reports feels like it shifts better. Well, that's because your rear subframe isn't deflecting every time your transmission shifts. It's also going to make the vehicle handle better. Once again, you go into the turns, that rear subframe is compromising and it's moving around on you. You put the bushing supports in there and you're going to corner with a lot more confidence. The other thing is from a durability issue. If you ever see a bushing that's constantly deflecting and constantly moving, it's going to have a lifespan. That bushing is eventually going to fail. The bushings in that rear subframe on the Ford Explorer, they're not replaceable. You need an entire new subframe. So especially if you're towing, pulling a boat in and out of the water, maybe you live on some dirt roads, you're going to want to put that bushing support system in there because it's going to increase the life and durability of those factory bushings. It's simply a no-brainer, and it's why they are patent pending, because it's one of those products, just like on the S550 Mustangs, we truly believe in. Now that you've added more power with your tuner, you want to get air into that motor a little bit better. That's why we suggest a cold air intake. There's plenty of offerings out there on the market, from S&B to AFE, and the beauty of these kits is they all come with washable, reusable air filters. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means when you're doing the maintenance on your vehicle, changing the oil, rotating the tires, you can clean your air filters. That's very important because a clean air filter is going to not only allow your engine to breathe better and create more power, but it's going to do a better job of filtering out all those contaminants like dust and dirt and things like that. I know in my household, every other oil change, I'm swapping the air filters, whether it's on the wife's Fusion, my truck, you name it. I always make sure I got an extra air filter on hand so I have a clean one ready to go in. Like I said, it's simply a no-brainer. Just like a tuner, it's not only going to increase horsepower, but you're going to get better gas mileage too. And at the end of the day, everybody likes better gas mileage. Last but certainly not least on our mods for under $500 is our Steeda lowering springs. Once again, this is going to give you a more aggressive stance. We're not going to slam your Explorer, put it in the weeds, but it's going to give you a nice, subtle reduction in ride height that's not only going to look a lot better, but it's going to give you some increased performance as well. So it's going to handle better, corner flatter in turns, but it's not going to jar you down the road. And quite frankly, that's the hardest thing with lowering springs. Anybody could design a lowering spring, slam the vehicle, make it look good, but can you get it to ride close to or as well as stock? That's the challenging part and something that we embrace here at Steeda. When you go and put it into the corners, the springs are going to respond and give you a firmer, planted feeling in that corner. But when you're going down the road, going over speed bumps, maybe you're up north and you got a bunch of potholes, it's still going to give you an acceptable ride and not jar you around like some of the other lowering springs on the market. Now, all of these parts we talked about are available right here at Steeda.com. And like I said, this is an awesome platform. It really checks all the boxes. You can take your family anywhere in it, and it offers great performance. We're talking about a vehicle with some simple modifications, can run deep into the 11-second range, even the high 10-second range in the quarter mile. That's absolutely outstanding for a vehicle that you can put your whole family in and cruise anywhere you want. So if you liked what you saw in the video, please leave a comment below. Let us know what Explorer parts you like, maybe some other Explorer parts like this diff brace that you'd like to see made better in the marketplace. We're open to anything, and like everything here at Steeda, we like to take things up to the next level. So hit like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, our YouTube channel. And remember the most important thing at the end of the day, Steeda, where speed matters.